Welcome to Intuitive Seek. My name is Mary Train, and as an intuitive guide, energy healer, and meditation teacher, I aim to bring you a grounded approach to all things energy and intuition. Everything I share is with the hope to help you remember how your unique power of intuition is your own greatest teacher. Hello and welcome. Welcome to your intuitive week of December 15th. We are in the last 2 weeks of this year, and wow, has there been so much change already this month for me and for many people that I've been connecting with. And if that is true for you, I hope you are taking notes, or at least kind of documenting how you're feeling and what you're doing and what the changes are and how it feels when there are so many changes happening with this whole year, but definitely in this kind of tension point of the threshold before we move into the new year. There can be a lot of wisdom to discover in hindsight, looking back. So if you are able to have a bit of time to do that for yourself, I would really recommend it. And then with this year coming up, how I'm feeling into it already, if you do not have a journal practice or any kind of way to, save voice notes to yourself, find a way that works for you to keep a record. It doesn't have to be a huge amount of information, but just so you can look back, because there is so much happening. And by documenting, recording these small points, breakthroughs, realizations, and then really big ones too, that can be so helpful in ways we don't even know yet. But I kind of got back into my journaling practice in 2018. And wow, when I look back at some of those, when I feel called to and just kind of open up to the page that I feel intuitively drawn to in kind of a bibliomancy sort of way, there is always something from my past self waiting to remind me about what I need to know now. And I continue to journal to this day and into the new year for sure. I mean, this year was almost 3 journals, 2 full journals, and then into a third. And yeah, that makes sense with how insane and wild and horrible and beautiful and transformative this year was and is. We're still in it. So anyway, my little pre-recommendation before the energy update to start some kind of practice to document what you are moving through, what you're going through, your thoughts, ideas, changes. Wow, it really does feel like that is something that we need now and moving into 2026 for sure. And before I dive into the energy of the week ahead, for anyone new, welcome, and welcome back to anyone who has already been with me before. A little reminder that with these energy impressions, trust what resonates, leave the rest. What I do is I go into a nice deep meditation with the intention to receive for us, for you, the listeners, and me, what we may need to know, what may really help us through the week ahead to remember, to reclaim, to recognize. Is there another R word I can think of? But yes, that is the intention. So I try my very best to translate with clarity what I experience in the meditation. But if it doesn't fit into your life, don't try to push it. Don't try to fit it. Allow what resonates and connects to you to do that, and then just let go anything that doesn't. Just listening to these energy impressions, energy updates, is a practice for your intuition to help develop your discernment. So connect to that. Connect to your intuition while listening and trust when something feels like, oh, that is for me. And then just let go, as I said, anything that doesn't. Oh, and let me know what resonates for you, what you connect with. I love to hear from you. And that's kind of the best part about this podcast is we get to interact about the energy and how we're feeling. And yeah, so reach out. Let me know that I'm not just speaking into the void. That is always really helpful for me too. All right, so let's get into it. Your intuitive week, your energy update for the week of December 15th. So when I opened the meditation, immediately I saw us, so the figure that represents you and I, carrying our plans, like rolled up, like the blueprints from last week. Everything that our inner architect is creating and wanting to create. And they were rolled up and under our arm on the right side. We're really clutching it to ourselves. But we're also in a stormy kind of weather. We're walking straight. It's a little bit more dark though because of the stormy weather. There's a lot of wind and debris around us, and that's why we're clutching that roll of blueprints of our plans so tightly under our arms. But we really are walking forward. We're just kind of head down and bracing the force of the storm, but we're moving. We're moving forward. And this really felt like a message around what we could experience this week. That for some of us, we could be feeling and experiencing a lot of the things on our path kicked up, stormy things, inner and outer, change, debris, uncertainty, maybe even conflict with people around us, inner conflict. It felt like there was so much on the path that was in our way, but not stopping us. Like it kind of needed to be there. And it did feel because of the kind of depth of the darkness on the path, like there wasn't a lot of light. And so this made me connect to our shadow, the shame, the judgment, that inner part of us that might be in the way of us realizing those plans that we're clutching so deeply. And the best thing about it, though, is that we're still moving forward. We're moving towards the storm. We're not running away from it. And that also reminded me of the buffalo, the bison, and how, unlike I believe almost every other animal, the buffalo runs towards a storm. And there are many theories and inspirational quotes about why, but I feel like that came up in the meditation, felt similar to how we were moving towards the storm, not running, but moving at a good pace, is because that this week, like the buffalo, we're not running away from the challenges. We're moving through them. We're going head on. We want to navigate them. We don't want to just react. We're moving through them. We're not allowing them to take our dreams or our plans out of our hands. And for the new year, it does feel like anything that is in our way, we do need to move towards them. That these next 2 weeks could be kicking up a lot of emotional energy and outer, maybe more activating experiences that kick up all of that inner storm. And specifically for this week about moving through the storm, we'll see for next week, but for this week, at least in the meditation, it felt like the message was that we are much more powerful than any storm, inner or outer. So anything we have been ignoring or not wanting to pay attention to or not feeling or even believing that it's not a challenge anymore or not in the way. This could be the week where you see, oh, actually, it just kind of moved into this, and I didn't realize that's what has been holding me back. And as I'm sharing that, really trust how it connects for you. Trust yourself as it resonates. What is that thing? Because this week really feels like we have the opportunity to move towards it and through it, and to reclaim that power within because of that. And also, if we're using that buffalo metaphor, how they're walking into the storm because they are prepared. They know this is the fastest way. They know they can withstand it. They know they are more powerful than it. So that also connects to that feeling of all of the debris kicking up, of us moving through it, being a witness and fully acknowledging what this shadow, shame, judgment that we have not been wanting to face. So, what do you need to walk towards? What do you need to walk towards and make it through so that your plans can really start building? Build on the strong foundation that is already there. Because there may be something still in the way, maybe a self belief, maybe that blind spot of shadow of the thing that you never want anybody to see. Maybe that is what needs to come forward to walk with you, to move into the light after this kind of stormy darkness. And does that feel like a lot of work before the end of the year? If it does, kind of try your best to let that go, because it might be a really simple action of just shifting your perspective on who you are now and what is true. What is really true? We're in that in between, that threshold energy between the old and the new. And this week, it does feel like our shadow is calling. That part of us that we really don't want to acknowledge, that we think is the thing that will ruin everything. It is not. And if it's hard for you to connect to it, maybe even think of something you want to build or where your plans are kind of moving you towards for the new year. And then pay attention to your body. Pay attention to where you feel maybe fear or nervousness or just some tension that is kind of unexplained. And then bring your attention to that tension and just stay open. Stay open to thoughts or memories or insights or even a word or a symbol, kind of similar to these meditations, how I bring them through. Because that is your intuition helping to speak to you, helping to clarify. And that's where journaling and voice notes to ourselves can really help. So you can also connect to me if you do feel like you need outside support. But this week, feel your feelings. Feel your feelings that you haven't shed light on. Because maybe even you didn't even realize you're in a superstitious kind of spiritual energy of not wanting to give attention to anything negative. But that's the best way to stay stuck on our paths, is to close our eyes to anything that we kind of deem negative or not, high vibe or whatever kind of new age BS there is. Stay open to your reality. Accept all of the negative and the positive. We need them both. That's the whole, not just one half. So open your inner eyes this week. Open up to yourself. And then the other part of the meditation, which I felt surprised by and kind of fascinated by, that I just loved the kind of balance of the symbolism in the meditation, because the other part, all of a sudden, the attention was shifted. And I was shown that in our left hand, as we're moving in this storm with all of this debris and wind and not a lot of light, while we're clutching our plans in the right hand, our right side, the side of our action, in our left, we were holding a pomegranate. And we've had pomegranate in these energy updates before, but it has been, I think, about 6 months. So we're holding a pomegranate in our left hand. And because we are walking in the storm, but with our head down, quite protective, we're almost forgetting that that pomegranate is there. So this feels like a reminder that opening our eyes also means opening our eyes to the abundance and the fertility and the rebirth and the beauty and the life that is available and coming and open to receive. Our hand on the left is the hand that we receive with. That abundance and beauty and fertility, but also change and rebirth, that it's safe in our hands. But it's only safe when we're open to it, when we're open to the change, open to the rebirth, open to this abundance that comes after all of the change, answering the inner call of moving forward, even when it feels like the storm is trying to stop us. And pomegranates symbolize, the main thing, everything I just shared is what they symbolize, but also initiation. And what is more of an initiation than a threshold between the ending and the beginning? So how can you connect and stay aware and open your eyes to experiences, inner and outer, that feel like an initiation before the fruit, before the rebirth, before the life and the abundance and the fertility? Don't shy away. Move towards it. Remember how much power you have and how prepared you are to move through it. So some really, really simple but strong symbolism from the meditation for this week. And then the last thing before I'll speak to the animal that came through, which was also super beautiful. The last thing in the meditation was a focus and a spotlight on our sacral, on our second energy center, just below our belly button, that some of us do really need some focused care and attention. This is the space where we can connect to our fertile energy and our creativity and that balance of giving and receiving, of feeling comfortable and safe in the depths of our emotions. It's where we can hold a lot of fear. So if any of that kind of resonated with you, do something for your sacral this week. And I'll put in the show notes my Reiki healing meditation for the sacral. And yeah, if you feel called, listen to it and see what shifts. And one more thing before the animal, we have a new moon. We have a new moon this week on the 19th in Sagittarius. And the energy of this new moon is really supporting everything that I just shared. I am very inspired by the themes, the astrological themes of this new moon. It's in the sign of Sagittarius, which is the explorer, the philosopher, and that connection to the universe we carry within, the knowledge and the wisdom and expansion. Its symbol is the centaur with a bow and arrow, which I feel kind of perfectly represents building and creating and opening up to our desires. So, towards the end of the week, take some time around this new moon energy to connect with your truth. Sagittarius is also the truth. Connect with your truth and your authentic desires, at least for the next 6 months. Set some intentions, goals, but with a lot of energy and feeling and truth behind them. Set your intention, set the mark just like the bow and arrow, pull back the bow metaphorically, and then remember to let the arrow fly, to release your grip on the outcome, surrender to it, release it, let everything go, trust that you set the intention and that you are moving towards it, and you don't have to micromanage or worry or anything that will make you doubt the intentions that you set from the truth of your soul. So really trust. But if that does sound like something that you want to take advantage of, carve out some time. Do it this week. And finally, the animal that came through in the meditation to help inspire us and guide us this week is the panther. And the symbolism, the energy that the panther represents, I could not have thought of a better one. So it was so lovely to see the panther there and then connect to it afterwards and then remember all of the symbolism and how much it is connected to everything else that we received for this week ahead. And the panther represents the energy of rebirth. Hello, already, many times. Rebirth, it's happening. Also, creative energy, protection, boundaries, reclaiming inner power, sacral healing. So, already a focus on the sacral that came through in the meditation, and then also with the animal, individuality, solitude, breakthroughs, lunar energy, new moon. We have a new moon this week. So, yes, connect to the panther if this is feeling like something that could really support you. Courage, and then healing. So, how do you connect to the panther energy? Trust how you can. Trust yourself. How do you feel like you could? Is it sitting in kind of silent meditation, bringing a panther into your imagination, allowing your imagination to translate for your intuition, seeing what the panther shares or shows you or does? You can have fun with it. But you can also look at a picture of a panther, see how it feels in your body. What does it remind you of? What is it trying to connect to for you? How is it supporting you? How is it inspiring you? There's so many ways. But to help us dive even deeper into the energy, let me share an excerpt, yes, from one of my favorite books, The Animal Speak by Ted Andrews, all about the cross-cultural symbolism and spiritual connections to many, many animals. And this excerpt about the panther really stood out for us this week. The panther reflects a coming time of opportunities to become twice born ourselves. This often means we may have to face offending malignancies of our life, a process similar to what has come to be known as meeting the dwellers on the threshold. Those aspects of ourselves or our life that we've painted over, glossed over, shoved to the back of the closet, or pretended didn't even exist. Sometimes this means we must suffer the loss of what we think we love the most. The panther holds the promise of rebirth and guardianship throughout. It is the symbol of power reclaimed from whatever darkness within our life has hidden it. The panther is the promise that whatever is lost will be replaced by that which is greater, stronger, and more beneficial. The panther marks a new turn in the heroic path. It truly reflects more than just coming into one's power. Rather, it reflects a reclaiming, a reclaiming of that which was lost, and an intimate connection with the great archetypal force behind it. It gives the ability to go beyond what has been imagined, with the opportunity to do so with discipline and control. It is the spirit of imminent rebirth. So how perfect of an animal for this week ahead. And everything that I shared, how can the panther symbolism and energy really inspire you and support you this week? And to help us dive even deeper into the energy, let me share some writing prompts, journal prompts, kind of soul questions that you can answer all or none. But these could really help you connect to yourself in a much deeper way. So the first question, what shame, judgment, what do you hold about yourself? The thing you don't want anyone to know. What is that? And how can you bring this part of you to the light and see how it can actually help you? And number 2, what do you believe is in the way of your dreams for 2026? Let it all out. What is in the way? Inner, outer, everything. Put it out. Write it all down. Place a timer, maybe for 1 minute, and just go. Just write everything. Do not judge yourself. Do not worry about being negative. Just write everything that you believe is in the way of what you are building and desire and plan for and dream of for 2026. And then a final question, what rebirth is imminent for you? What rebirth is imminent? What are you right on the threshold of? Describe it. Even if you don't have the full picture of what it is, try your best to connect to it. There is a lot of wisdom there. And that's what we have. That is the energy update for your intuitive week of December 15th. Let me know if you have any thoughts or questions. Do not hesitate to send me a message about anything that resonated with you as well. You can message me through my website, treenlight.com, or through my Instagram at treenlight. And if you're curious about working with me, go to the show notes. You'll see all the links of everything you need to connect. Hugely appreciated if you subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And if you feel called to give a bit of extra support, you can share this episode with a friend, or you could leave a review. That would be amazing. So thank you again. Be extra kind to yourself, and I will talk to you next week.